Recently, I did a shout out asking for people to send in 1 minute debunk videos, debunking Flat Earth or pretty much any other conspiracy. I had a great response, and we held a live show where we went through all the videos. Well, here, what I've done is I've collected all the 1 minute debunk videos and we're just going to play them back to back for your enjoyment. The point of the challenge is for people to make videos, something that perhaps they're not used to doing, and to have that tough constraint of only having 60 seconds. So I want to say a massive thank you to each and every one of you who did this, and please everybody, I will put the links to every channel in the description below. Why not go and check out their channel and see what else they're doing? Right, on with it then. 1 minute debunks.
Roll VT.
Several high-profile flat earthers have performed an experiment where they shine a laser across a body of water. Their claim is that if they can see the laser over a certain number of miles, it disproves the theory that the Earth is a globe with a measurable curve. Let's see. If the Earth was flat, then the light from the laser would travel unimpeded and past the observer, but that's not what we see. Instead, what we see is the observer reporting that they can see the laser some distance out over the water. This is because the path of the light has been impeded by the curvature of the Earth. The light from the laser is never a constant beam but can only be seen periodically due to atmospheric conditions. If there were no curve, the light would continue to travel as shown previously. The only way to overcome this phenomenon is to gain altitude. If the Earth were flat, this would not be necessary. Flat earthers will claim that what we see in the laser test is due to either refraction or the laws of perspective. However, as the atmospheric conditions would have to be identical for every test both day and night and would further necessitate that the law of perspective changes depending on altitude, both of these objections can be safely ignored. Given the available data, there can only be one conclusion: the Earth is not flat.
Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Andreas Eld. We all heard what the flatties say. The Earth can't be a globe. According to the globalists, the horizon is 2.73 miles away, but I can see ships and islands way beyond that. So this is their understanding. They're on the beach, and 2.73 miles away we have the horizon, beyond which you can't see anything. Does that look like a globe to you? And as always, please follow your government's recommendations in the pandemic and always be nice to each other. Thank you very much.
Here's a quick 1 minute flat earth debunk for Mr. Sensible, from me, Night Sky Jeff. If the moon is always above the flat earth, then that means it can never appear to set by perspective alone. That much is trivial. This means we need refraction. But what sort of refraction causes an object to appear lower than it actually is? As this diagram shows, when light refracts downward, the source of the light appears higher up than it actually is. When light refracts upward, the source of the light appears lower down than it actually is. That means moonrise and moonset on a flat Earth require upward refraction. However, upward refraction requires a density inversion in the atmosphere. Normally, denser air is near the surface and less dense air is higher up. Upward refraction requires denser air up top and less dense air at the surface. It requires this all the time, or else we wouldn't have a moonrise and a moonset every day. This has been Night Sky Jeff. Keep looking up.
Presenting the AE map with an alleged wall all the way around the edge. According to Flat Earth Wiki, the Sun is a revolving sphere with a diameter of 51.5 kilometers, 32 miles, and is located approximately 4,828 kilometers, 3,000 miles, above the surface of the Earth. If that were true reality, it comes with a whole host of questions, one of which we will address here. How does sunset, sunrise work on a flat Earth? How can the sun get low enough to the horizon to light the underside of clouds and show shadows on the underside of clouds cast by mountains? Perspective is what the flat earthers say, but that would mean the Earth is a lot bigger around than we see on the AE map. However,
Greetings and salutations, this is Huge Ass! And for this 1 minute debunk, I'm going to debunk this.
How many times can you say it? If you are claiming Earth is a globe, I do not believe a word out of your lying mouth. If you do not show physical demonstration of your absurd claim, don't bother wasting either of our time leaving a comment. I'm just going to delete it because you are a deluded liar.
A physical demonstration of the Earth being a globe, huh? How about the shadow of the Earth against the moon during a lunar eclipse? Or how about this picture of a ship over the horizon? How about last year when a bunch of us took observations on the equinox and showed that reality did not match the flat Earth model, but it did match the globe model? What does that make your comments look like now, Daniel?
Babbling, nonsense, insanity.
A dust devil was spotted on the crater floor. Spirit, Opportunity's sister rover, had seen dust devils in the past, but they were a lot rarer for Opportunity. It is believed that dust devils passing over the rovers had been responsible for the occasional cleaning events that removed dust off the rover's solar panels.
Hi, I'm Mark, and I know a thing or two about aviation. With one picture in 60 seconds, I will call out 3 flat Earth fallacies. This is the view from the captain's seat in a Gulfstream 550 through the windshield and heads-up display, or HUD, in level flight at 45,000 feet. I spent a lot of time here. It's a beautiful point of view to take in our vast, gorgeous globe. Let's go. Fallacy number 1, no visible curve. Look at the red line I drew at the horizon. The curve is subtle but there, as it always is. Fallacy 2, the horizon always rises to eye level. The long green horizontal line through the HUD is a level flight reference. Eye level, if you will. Quite a gap between the green line and the visible horizon. Fallacy number 3, if the Earth is a globe, then airplanes would constantly have to dip their noses to follow the curve. The bore sight identified here is an indication of where the airplane's nose is pointing. It's indicating nose up, where it always is in straight and level flight. After thousands of flight hours, I have yet to fly off into space, although that would be really cool if the airplane could actually do that. It can't. Certainly each of these points deserves further explanation, but Mr. S only gave me a minute, so there it is. See ya.
According to Vibes of Cosmos, the moon is a sort of plasma thing that reflects the Earth, which contains many more continents than those we know. By looking at the moon reflection, we can map the full extent of the flat Earth, including the unknown continents. In his video on the left, he is zooming in on the moon and showing how those things that we think are craters and plains are actually reflections of earthly terrain. On the right is my video, which looks more closely at the moon reflection using higher quality imagery. In this way, I can show that his analysis is flawed by the quality of the image he started with. In fact, the moon reflection shows not the reflection of the physical Earth plane, but rather the reflection of the human collective unconscious, as described by Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung. Remember, you heard it here first. Flat Earth Peer Review.
Have you ever noticed a small hole when looking out of an aircraft window? This small hole is a bleed hole. Its main purpose is to let air in and out from between the two windows on the outer part of the aircraft, keeping pressure balanced. It stops fogging and frosting due to the difference in temperature outside the aircraft. You have 3 panes. Plastic protection window on the inside of the cabin, the middle window with your little bleed hole, and a very sturdy outer window, and they all sit in a heavy duty window frame with a dirty great clamp. You're not getting sucked out of that window, giggity.
Let's talk about scale. No, not that kind of scale. One. That is wrong. That is wrong. That is still wrong. This is still completely and absolutely wrong. This camera stinks, but if you can zoom in on New York City on your globe, there are 8.5 million people living in New York City. Try to imagine 8.5 million stick figures in the area of the little dot that represents New York City, and you will understand why scale, when people try to draw a curve and stick figures, is totally pointless. If you can see the curve, you can't see the stick figure. And if you can see the stick figure, you can't see the curve.
I want to give massive thanks to all of my supporting members and patrons. Thank you all so very much.
Hi, I'm Arctic Reflection. Did you know that radar is a real flat earth killer? Do you know why? It have a horizon. One of many proofs of that is the Texas Towers. It were a set of radar facilities off the eastern seaboard of the United States. which were used as an early warning system for attacking aircrafts. They were built in the 50s. If the Earth were flat, it would be insane to place them so unprotected out in the sea. But on a globe, that means that they looked further out from the coast. A bit into the 60s, they were replaced by AWACS, airborne radar. This allowed them to see even further. So, radar is a flat Earth killer. Thanks for this time.
Good afternoon, Deadly Dave here, and I'm going to debunk the idea that we should see curvature. We keep getting this from flat earthers that you can't see curvature, but of course you can't. The planet is huge. So, first of all, I have here, as you can see, a couple of straight blue lines across my screen. And I am going to draw a yellow line, straight line there roughly across there so we can see the yellow line I've just drawn. And now that I've that drawn, I am going to zoom out of this particular picture. So if I go to my zoom and I make that to, you will see there is my paint application with the yellow line drawn dead straight across the curved plane. And we can go further. We can continue to zoom this picture out until we have the entire globe and my yellow line has disappeared. The Earth is huge. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Hello, I'm Jeremy, and in today's video we are going to be debunking the idea that the Bible says the Earth is flat. A lot of flat earthers will claim that the Bible says the Earth is flat. It does not. Oftentimes they are referring to the KJV Bible and the usage of the word firmament. The KJV Bible is a terrible translation if you want to study what the Bible actually says. If you want to study what the Bible actually says, pick up an ESV. It uses the word expanse. There is no firmament, there is no dome. It's an expanse. Okay? It's an expanse. Pick up an ESV. There. The flat earth has been debunked. Okay? More detailed debunkings on my channel, where we actually open the Bible. Okay?
How do everyone? Today we're going to debunk Nathan Jokeley's housekeeping questions. Here we go. Plenty. Yes, don't get triggered, Oakley.
Gravity!
Yeah, Cassini did it in 1672, but nowadays we just use radar, it's easier. You're showing it right now. Gas pressure and atmospheric pressure are two entirely different things. Learn the bloody difference. Nope, because it's not molten, it's solid. Bob! Done. Thank you, Mr. Sensible.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Chismondo here, Paul, from Colorado, El Paso County. People have always looked at objects and pictures and claimed to see things that are not there, be they alien bases on the moon or giant fossils of dragons. I thought I'd bring you here to the Garden of the Gods in Colorado to see pareidolia in action. We'll be looking at sandstone rocks that are part of the Fountain Rock formations, and these rocks are hundreds of millions of years old. Some well-known examples of pareidolia are a face on Mars and Jesus Christ appearing on an iron. The locals call this rock kissing camels. Can you see why? Can you see a footprint in the middle of the screen? Oh, it's just a shadow. They look like giant white toes, right? There's no other explanation, is there? It's toes. What we are seeing is an optical illusion that you can only see from this angle. If you change angles, it's just a pile of rocks. Pareidolia can play powerful tricks on your brain, but sometimes, if you look again, or change the angle you are observing from, you can see what is really going on.
Good evening, it's a Snark. A short video about the lengths of the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. They are of the same length. You can see that because here we have the Tropic of Cancer and here we have the Tropic of Capricorn. They're both the same length, they're both 22,859 miles. Here and here. Now, to those flat earthers who like to say, yeah, but they're not real places, you can't really measure them, and they're not actually a line on the ground, they go through these places. You can see the gallery here and the gallery there. This is the places they go through. So you can actually measure the distance from the equator to either of the tropics. So it's a real distance because they're real places. They're equally long, which is impossible on a flat earth. So goodbye flat earth, you're done.
Today's video is all about science. I've changed the density of the medium and the egg has displaced. If mass really attracts mass, why didn't the egg go down? The cause of the movement is changing the medium's density. Can you science, bro?
When you throw a rock into a pond, ripples propagate outward in a circular pattern. Likewise, during a tsunami, massive waves propagate outward from the origin. The waves travel at 500 miles an hour through deep waters. If the severity and the time of arrival can be predicted accurately, many human lives can be saved. Let's look at a prominent example, the 2010 Chile earthquake. The waves first arrived in New Zealand 13 hours after the earthquake, in Alaska at 19 hours, and in Japan at 22 hours. But why aren't these lines circular? Well, actually, they are. They're modeled on the globe, and so on any other map, they will be distorted. Can the flat Earth do any better? Well, the most popular flat Earth map looks even worse than before. In fact, it isn't even possible. No flat map can avoid distortion. So if the globe is accurate, no other map is. Globe models save lives. What has the flat Earth done?
Hello everybody and welcome to a short episode about real stuff disproving a flat Earth. Peas and all other higher plants that grow roots and shoots because they all move relative to gravity without light when they're in the ground and also without taking density of the air or whatever into account, as some flat earthers claim. So how do they do this? This has been experimented on and measured in great detail. We now know the exact mechanisms behind this. I really urge you to look into the video description to find the paper that I linked there. It's really interesting to look into that. And yes, this is just another nail into the flat Earth coffin there. Oh, and one more thing. Next time you call flat earthers pea brains, please don't, because it insults the peas.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you again, everybody, for taking part. And I hope that you guys have all enjoyed it. Maybe next time you'll have a go. Until then, stay sensible.
Shut up and sit down.